Why does a loving God allow pain? The truth will challenge you. One of the most difficult questions in the Catholic faith is this: if God is truly loving, why does he allow pain, suffering, and tragedy? It echoes through hospital rooms, war zones, broken families, and silent nights of personal anguish. At first glance, pain seems incompatible with a good and loving God. Yet, the deeper truth revealed through Scripture and Catholic teaching offers something far more challenging and ultimately more transformative. To begin, we must understand that God did not originally create a world filled with suffering. According to the book of Genesis, creation was very good. Humanity was made for harmony with God, with each other, and with creation itself. Pain entered the world through sin. When humanity chose to turn away from God, disorder followed. This is what the Church calls the fall. From that moment, suffering became part of the human condition, not because God delights in it, but because he respects the freedom he gave us. This brings us to a hard truth: love requires freedom. God does not force love, obedience, or goodness. He allows us to choose, but with that freedom comes the possibility of choosing wrongly, and those choices can lead to real consequences, including pain, war, injustice, betrayal. And much of the suffering we see in the world are the result of human decisions. God permits this, not out of indifference, but because removing freedom would also remove the possibility of genuine love. Still, this does not explain all suffering. What about natural disasters, illness, or the suffering of innocent people? Here, the mystery deepens. Catholic teaching does not claim to have a complete answer that satisfies human logic. Instead, it points us to something greater. God does not always prevent suffering, but he never wastes it. This is where the cross becomes central. Christianity does not present a distant God who watches suffering from afar. It reveals a God who enters into suffering himself. In Jesus Christ, God takes on human flesh and experiences pain, rejection, betrayal, and death. The cross is not just a symbol of suffering, it is the ultimate proof that God understands it from within. But even more shocking is what the cross accomplishes. Through suffering, redemption is made possible. What appears as defeat becomes victory. Death leads to resurrection. This is the pattern that challenges our human understanding. God can bring good out of suffering, even when we cannot see it. In Catholic spirituality, suffering can have meaning when united with Christ. This does not mean pain is good in itself, nor that we should seek it. Rather, it means that when suffering is offered to God, it can become a source of grace for ourselves and for others. This idea is often referred to as redemptive suffering. It is a difficult concept, but it reflects a profound truth. Even our deepest pain can be transformed. Consider the lives of the saints. Many endured intense suffering, physical illness, persecution, spiritual dryness, yet they did not lose faith. Instead, their suffering became a path to holiness. They discovered that in their weak moments, God's presence became stronger. Pain stripped away illusions of control and drew them closer to total trust in God. Another challenging truth is that suffering can reveal what comfort often hides. When life is easy, it is tempting to rely on ourselves, but in moments of pain, we are confronted with our limitations. We begin to ask deeper questions about meaning, purpose, and eternity. In this way, suffering can become a doorway not to despair, but to a deeper relationship with God. At the same time, the Catholic response to suffering is not passive acceptance. The Church calls us to fight against suffering where we can, to care for the sick, defend the vulnerable, seek justice, and bring hope. Love is not indifferent to pain, it moves toward it. When we act with compassion, we become instruments of God's healing in the world. So, why does a loving God allow pain? The truth is not simple, and it will challenge you. God allows suffering because he values freedom, because he can bring greater good from it, and because he has chosen to enter into it with us. He does not promise a life free from pain, but he does promise that suffering will not have the final word. The resurrection of Christ is the ultimate answer. It tells us that no suffering, no matter how great, is meaningless when placed in God's hands. It assures us that pain is temporary, but God's love is eternal. In the end, the question is not only why does God allow suffering, but also how will we respond to it? Will we turn away from God in bitterness, or will we draw closer to him in trust? The truth is challenging, but it is also full of hope. Thank you for watching the video. If you found this video helpful, please like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video. Goodbye.